Your phone, you know the one, in your pocket right now, has been made with slavery. It is a well-known fact that cobalt is a key component in the production of lithium-ion batteries, which are widely used in electronic devices such as smartphones, laptops, and electric vehicles. However, the demand for cobalt has also led to significant human rights abuses in the mining industry, particularly in countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC. Reports from human rights organizations and media outlets have documented the widespread use of child labor and forced labor in the DRC's cobalt mines. Children as young as 7 years old have been found working in dangerous conditions for long hours with little or no protective equipment. Many of these children are paid very low wages, if they are paid at all, and may be considered slaves by the standards of the International Labor Organization. In 2019, an investigation by the BBC found that children as young as 7 years old were working in cobalt mines in the DRC that supplied to Chinese company Huayu Cobalt. The company, which is one of the world's largest producers of cobalt, denied the allegations and said that it had implemented measures to prevent the use of child labor in its supply chain. Conditions in the cobalt mines are often extremely hazardous. Workers, including children, are frequently exposed to toxic chemicals such as mercury and cyanide, which are used to extract cobalt from ore. These chemicals can cause serious health problems, including birth defects, neurological damage, and kidney failure. In addition to the health risks, cobalt miners also face the risk of injury or death due to cave-ins, rock falls, and other accidents. In addition to the exploitation of workers, the cobalt mining industry in the DRC has also been linked to environmental degradation and conflict. The mining of cobalt often involves the destruction of forests and other ecosystems, as well as the pollution of water sources. This can have serious consequences for local communities who rely on these resources for their livelihoods and well-being. The profits from cobalt mining have also fueled conflict in the DRC, with various armed groups competing for control of mines and other natural resources. Despite the well-documented issues in the cobalt industry, many companies continue to profit from cobalt mining, often without adequately addressing the human rights and environmental impacts of their operations. This is particularly concerning given the cobalt is an essential component of modern technology, and the demand for cobalt is expected to continue to grow in the coming years. In 2017, a report by Amnesty International and AfroWatch accused Apple, Samsung, and several other major companies of failing to do sufficient due diligence to ensure that their cobalt suppliers in the DRC were not using child labor. The report documented the use of child labor at cobalt mines that supplied to these companies and called on the companies to take action to address the issue. Apple stated that it had implemented a comprehensive cobalt traceability program and that it had conducted on-site inspections of its cobalt suppliers in the DRC. The company also stated that it had found no instances of child labor at these suppliers, and that it was committed to working with its suppliers to ensure that they meet Apple's strict standards for ethical sourcing. Meanwhile, Samsung also denied the allegations and stated that it had implemented a cobalt traceability system and conducted on-site inspections of the cobalt suppliers in the DRC. The company also said that it had implemented a policy prohibiting the use of child labor in its supply chain, and that it was committed to working with its suppliers to ensure compliance with this policy. But then again, sourcing cobalt from child slavery is a touchy subject, and no one would be lining up at the door to out themselves as profiteers from such a thing.